guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Please consider subscribing to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking to you and showing you 5 fragrances that have been long discontinued, but I still love them. I own them, and 2 of these fragrances I have used several bottles each fragrance. So it seems to me that you like this kind of video, and I enjoy making those videos for you. So this is in no particular order. These are the fragrances that I have been loving and using for years, and 2 of these fragrances have a note of cherry that kind of it overlaps with the video for Sunday, because on Sunday I'm going to be talking to you about cherry fragrances, you see, but I'm going to be talking about fragrances with cherry note or sour cherry note that you can actually get in stores. I'm not planning to talk to you about fragrances that are discontinued fragrances, because I don't think it would be fair, you know, to make you to spend so much money for the fragrance you have no opportunity to try and to decide if you actually like it. So today we have 2 fragrances with cherry and 2 fragrances that I have been using several bottles. So I'm gonna start with the beautiful fragrance by Givenchy. And it's one of 3 fragrances that came out. This particular fragrance is called Rewind. It has kind of futuristic packaging, right? It came in the packaging with like this. It's 20 ml. You open it up, you extract the fragrance, and you then replace it with the refill that came in the same package. So here you go. So this fragrance, it has cherry, pistachio, bergamot, honey, cashmere wood, jasmine, patchouli, amber, sandalwood, and cedar. And oh my gosh, this is a beautiful fragrance. This is a beauty of a fragrance. It's a potent beast mode fragrance. It has such a prominent note of cherry, this kind of almost cherry liquor, but without this alcoholic part. It's kind of very dense cherry jam. Beautiful, very beautiful fragrance. And with this fragrance, I kind of want to destroy the myth that says that all the cherry adoration started with Tom Ford cherry fragrance, which is absolutely not. It didn't start with that. It started years and years back with, I believe, one of the first cherry fragrances that was very prominent and very famous was Cacharel Gloria. It had cherry fragrance, cherry note in it, and also other fragrances. So the cherry moment happened way before Tom Ford. So anyway, beautiful, very nice fragrance, and I love it. I just love it. It's such a dense fragrance, such a beautiful fragrance. And sometimes when I want a cherry, but like sweet and very dense cherry, I use this one. I use this fragrance, which is an absolute beauty of fragrance. Yeah, it doesn't smell dated. Yeah, it just for you to get it out there, it doesn't smell dated, because so many fragrances that have been created in the beginning of 2000s or in at the end of 90s, they tend to smell a bit dated. Those don't. So next fragrance, and you can actually get this fragrance. I have seen it recently online, but just not the Rewind version that I have. I believe it was Forward, because it has Rewind, Play, and Forward. Yeah, so next one is a beast model fragrance. I love this fragrance. And this is a fragrance that is pricey. You can still get it, but it is very pricey. It's an iconic fragrance, and I don't even know why would they discontinue such a beautiful gem of a fragrance. So it's Trouble by Boucheron. It's an amazing fragrance, and if you see the bottle, it has this kind of snake around it and this kind of jade. Obviously it's not jade, it's just the paint. Jade eyes of this snake is such a beautiful and opulent scent. It has lemon, it has Dyer's greenweed, jasmine, amber, cedar. I believe there's some kind of sweetness in here, so I believe there's also vanilla in this fragrance. I love this fragrance. The only thing for me with this fragrance that with time this fragrance, it became so concentrated. It kind of the color had darkened. Well, actually, when I see like that, it doesn't actually feel like it's too dark. You probably you see it as a dark one, but I look at it against the light and it's not dark. But anyway, I wouldn't wear this fragrance on a white shirt. I wouldn't spray it on a white shirt because it tends to leave this kind of, yeah, you can see it, right? Yeah. But the fragrance is absolutely beautiful. It's very dark and rich, sweet amber fragrance, and yeah, I wiped it so it doesn't really leave a mark, but I bet it would on the white clothing. Such a beautiful amber fragrance. If you're on the market for amber fragrances and you are not afraid to buy fragrances that are discontinued and without testing, so this might be your gem. This is a beautiful one. I love it. I thoroughly love this fragrance. And by the way, this one, it came, I believe, in the biggest size. So this is 50 and they had 100 ml. And what they also had, this kind of purse-sized bottles that were absolutely beautiful. I believe it. They had like 15 ml or maybe 20. They had the snake as well. So beautiful, beautiful gem of a fragrance. Beware that it leaves the stain. So test it before spraying it on yourself. So next one, and this is the fragrance that contrary to the popular belief, when a designer comes into the world of fragrance, sometimes the first fragrance isn't a hit, but this one is such a beautiful fragrance. This is Alberta Ferretti by Alberta Ferretti. I got it for such a cheap price because it was discontinued back then, and it was like, it was sold, I believe, maybe for 20 euros or so. This is such a nice fragrance and such a particular fragrance. This is a fragrance that has freesia, pink pepper, bergamot, sweet pea, lily, ylang-ylang, patchouli, and amber. So this is a dark ambery fragrance with a lot of flowers, and it's also a sweet fragrance. It's not cloyingly sweet fragrance. I can say that this is this is a fragrance. It is by no means like Coco Mademoiselle. It is by no means like, I don't know, Femme Individuelle by Mont Blanc, but this is this type of fragrance. This is a kind of timeless, classy, very chic and polished and kind of neutral fragrance that you can wear from day to night. It's very appropriate for the working environment. Maybe if you are on this kind of a bit higher working ranking position, it's just good. It's just such a good fragrance. I love it. I love it. And I don't think, at least I don't know, but I haven't stumbled upon Alberta Ferretti other fragrances. This might be the only one that they have. I'm not sure about this, but this one is such a beautiful and really, really underestimated fragrance. So next one is the fragrance, and these are the two fragrances that I have used numerous bottles of these fragrances. This one is Young, Sexy, Lovely by Yves Saint Laurent, and so many people, they don't even know about this fragrance. They never saw this fragrance. So here it is, Young, Sexy, Lovely, and I have been through several bottles of this one. And mind you, every year they used to come out with the different, slightly different formulation of the same fragrance and slightly different bottle. I used to have this kind of plain transparent bottle with the heart on it, and then the bottle that has this kind of ribbon, like elastic ribbon that you could actually use as a bracelet. I never did. I never use it as a bracelet, but anyway, you could if you wanted to. And this one has cherry note to it. It has pear, mandarin orange, cherry, magnolia, musk, patchouli, and amber in this fragrance. I'm not saying that it's an amber fragrance. Probably they have used musk and amber just to add a structure to the fragrance, but mainly this fragrance is about a light pear, it is about cherry, and it is about white flower, for me, in my opinion. So it's like a light, airy, fresh, very young, very kind of for me, this is the fragrance that encapsulates this life without any trouble. It's like free from thoughts. You don't have this. You are a young adult, or like a young person that is transitioning to an adult life, but you still don't have this kind of burden of being an adult. You don't have a mortgage, you don't have bills to pay, or maybe you have, but you kind of manage because you have some work and your parents help you in some way. So this is the fragrance that you don't have any trouble. Your only trouble is that if your grade isn't as high as you would like it to be. So this is like youth in its finest for me. So this is a beautiful fragrance. Is it a complicated fragrance? Absolutely not. But the sensation that this fragrance gave me every time I wore it is just priceless. It's such a nice, beautiful fragrance, and it's a shame that they have discontinued this fragrance, because it's not a bad fragrance. Is it complicated? It's not. Is it appropriate for maybe some more sophisticated tastes that want some more complex composition? It might not be, but this is a kind of fragrance I think that every single brand should have, because this is kind of fragrance that is easy to wear, easy reach. You don't feel like spraying anything on yourself today, so this is your fragrance, because it's not like it smells like anything, but it's like you don't have to think twice for this fragrance. You know what I mean? Easy to reach, beautiful, very nice and complimentary scent. So, and I will wrap this video up with Intrusion by Oscar de la Renta. And this one, oh my gosh, these have been with me through so many adventures, so many things. So this is not the first bottle, obviously. And oh my gosh, I loved this fragrance. I took off the cap because, you know, it's blinding. So this fragrance has let me I'm sorry, I have a problem with the fragrance. So anyway, this is a beautiful fragrance that hold on a moment. I'm sorry guys, I had a phone call I had to take. Sorry. So Oscar de la Renta, and this one is the beautiful fragrance. It has the notes of grapefruit, Sicilian bergamot, neroli, star anise, mandarin orange, lily, water jasmine, peony, gardenia, musk, patchouli, and amber. And this is such a beautiful fragrance. You see, I have I have heard and I have read so many strange comments about this fragrance, and I was like, why? It's not about this fragrance. This is not how I remember using and loving this fragrance. This is such a beautiful, fresh. It's fresh. It's really, really fresh. The opening is so zesty. Is so crunchy, if you can say it about the opening of the fragrance. It's crunchy, it's zesty, it's fresh, it's beautiful, it's very refreshing, especially if you are talking about like hot temperatures and humid climates. And then it has such a beautiful bouquet of flowers that are by no means, even though those flowers are white flowers, they're by no means suffocating flowers. And this is what I loved about this fragrance. And this star anise, the star anise is not a thing that I love. I don't like it. I don't, especially when it comes to food, anise, cookies, what have you. It's not my favorite. But in this fragrance, it gives this fragrance kind of this fresh and almost cold feeling. So it's just a beautiful refreshing flowers, being bouquet of flowers but not suffocating flowers. More than that, I have to say that in my opinion, even though this is a flower heavy fragrance, these flowers are so neutral and they are by no means sweet. They are not feminine flowers. You can actually get this fragrance working even for a man, if he chooses to use this fragrance. So it's kind of a good unisex thing as well. So these are my 5 fragrances that I decided to talk to you today. I love them all to bits, and I sometimes use them as well, just for like nostalgic purposes. And every time I use these fragrances, I immediately remember my adventures, my the years that have passed, and maybe occasion when I was wearing the fragrance, and I have done something memorable, or I have been to something, or I have been a part of something that was important in my in obviously in my life, but also in life of other people. Anyway, this is it for today. I'm gonna be seeing you on Sunday with the video for cherry fragrances. And in the meantime, please let me leave me, oh my gosh, I can't talk today, leave me the comment down below if you have if you know these fragrances, if you love these fragrances, if you have been acquainted to these fragrances, if you know them. Leave me the comment down below. I thank you for your attention, and bye.